Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga is overseeing the reopening of schools for the 2022 academic year in Randfontein, Gauteng. Our reporter Malungelo Booi is in Randfontein for us. Malungelo, very good morning to you. What's the latest developments with the minister keeping a close eye on schools?
Well, the minister is just addressing some members of staff here at this particular school, but also earlier on she interacted with some pupils, essentially they were reading to her the same thing that they did in their first school. In fact, I'm going to ask Daniel just to show you where the minister is now. She's currently, as you rightfully pointed out, here in the Randfontein area, overseeing the first day of school in public schools here in the country. As you would know, that schools in inland provinces are opening today. And we also know, though, that they're opening, the schools opening really this time around after facing an extraordinary year over the past 2 years because of COVID-19. I can see the minister's spokesperson is trying to alert her that, in fact, we are hoping to speak to her. And one of the things that the minister has been talking about throughout the schools that she, in fact, has been visiting is the importance of making sure that the schools adhere to the COVID-19 safety protocols. That is key, and we've actually been seeing when children are coming into school, into the school, they have been screened, their temperature, and also have their hands sanitized. But also what we've noticed is that some schools, in fact, have brought in then all grades, but what they've done is that they've sort of like grouped grades. They've grouped grades, so in terms of colors. So in one of the schools that we went to, a particular color was opening today. Another color will sort of like open tomorrow. So that's in line really with some of the safety measures that schools have been told to implement as they really try to live with COVID-19. I'm hoping that the minister will come to us for any minute from now, because we have actually been promised that she was going to come and speak to us. But I think it is also important to note, though, that at one of the primary schools that we went to, there were parents that were saying that they're hoping to have their children still enrolled at that school, because they're saying that they've been battling to find place at that particular school, and we're hoping that the minister would essentially intervene. And we know the issue of unplaced pupils is a problem, especially here in Gauteng.
Very well, let's leave it there for now, Malungelo. Of course, as we are expecting, as Malungelo Booi is mentioning, to hear from Minister Angie Motshekga herself as she goes to oversee the reopening of schools in the Randfontein area. Okay, I understand that the minister is now moving towards Malungelo Booi as we take you there for her to answer some of the really important questions that have been posed about some concerns when it comes to the reopening of schools, especially in the face of COVID-19. Let's take you back to Malungelo Booi. Malungelo, I understand you now have the minister.
That's right, the Minister of Basic Education, Angie Mtshekga, is joining me now. She has been visiting some of the schools here in the Randfontein area, obviously trying to oversee the reopening of schools. Minister, thank you so much for your time. I must say, when at the first school, one of the things that I observed was that there were very anxious parents at the gate, and also the very anxious pupils. What would you say to parents who are anxious about their children returning to school?
I know, especially because I did ask the principal also. He said, no, normally your grade ones, they're from home, and parents want to be sure that they're settling in. So learners are anxious, they're going to a different space. Parents are anxious to see if their kids are going to adjust. So it's a normal phenomenon for the first few days with parents and with your grade ones in particular.
In terms of COVID-19, Minister, and safety protocols here at the schools that you have visited, are you at least satisfied?
Now, I'm very comfortable. I mean, we've had 2 years of running with these protocols, and I can say with confidence that our schools have become the safest places to be, both as workers and our learners. Our children already know what to do, what not to do, how to socialize, how to safe distance. So I'm relatively comfortable. I know we can't let the guard down, but I'm relatively comfortable that our schools are still adhering to the protocols as set up.
One of the things, Minister, that you spoke about, in fact, over the past 2 years, was that COVID-19 has, in a way, messed up the schooling time and all of that. How are we going? What is it that we're going to do to make sure that we recover the time lost?
You see, from 2019, when we reopened, we first had to trim the curriculum and say these are the fundamentals. But which unfortunately said other things now this generation is going to lose out. So it helped us to relook at our curriculum, trim down, and only do at fundamentals to make sure that there are no serious learning gaps. Okay. And we were hoping that by 2021 we will get a reprieve, which didn't happen. We had to rotate for the whole year. And our statistics from our own monitoring, but also from the NECT, which is our partner, say the learning losses of 2021 alone are estimated at more than 40%. So in some instances, it means 60-40. Yeah. So what government did, they gave us what we call teacher assistance, yes, to help teachers to really cover up. But what is fortunate about about COVID, it yes, has forced us to relook at how we teach, what we teach, and how we teach it. And that's why with MTN we have an e-school. So we are really putting or ramping up our performance around ICTs in education to help us compensate for the losses that we continue to experience.
Minister, a quick one. I've run out of time. In terms of the unplaced learners, there were parents outside. What is it that will be done to assist those? Quickly,
now, they must go to districts. What we have requested parents to do is that, like that school, it's a very popular school. The principal says it's full to capacity, so there's nothing she can do. They have to go to districts if the children have not been placed as yet. And then the district will identify gaps which are near where they live for them to have the children placed. So we need between today and Friday to identify gaps that exist and then be able to place their learners. We are obliged by law to find spaces for children, so there is no way we won't find spaces for them. I understand their anxiety, and I'm very sorry about it that they have to find themselves in that position, but we're doing everything that we can to make sure that we find spaces for those children.
Minister, thank you so much. Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga there on the last point, saying that everything possible will be done to make sure that the children that are unplaced are placed, and also apologizing to some parents who find themselves in that predicament.
Very well. Let's leave it there for now, Malungelo, as we continue, of course, to bring the very latest on day one of the 2022 academic year for public schools. And those details will continue to stream in throughout the course of the day.